Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a good day yesterday. Awesome day in chat. A lot of good calls, a lot of good trades taken. Just a fun day, a great way to start a beautiful weekend. At least over here in South Carolina, it's beautiful. Ready to get back out and get to the water here after working this morning, but I'm ready to get back at it. But I did this video yesterday and somehow forgot to cut the mic on, so I'm redoing it right now. And if I sound rushed, it's because I'm ready to get out and get back to the water. I'm a beach bum and a water child and anything else you could think of. So when the weekend hits, I'm headed to the coast. Now on LNKD, that was on my watch. It was a gap up from earnings Thursday. After close Thursday, it gapped up and it pulled back in and came up and held around 132.50. And when it opened, that's about where it hung around at open. Got a little bit of push, but as long as it held these gains pre-market, I was looking for trading in between these levels. If it faded it open off of this, if it gave me an opportunity, I would have gotten the opening range breakdown, then flipped it long here off this level. For the push up, if it opened and went to run up, I'd have like to take it opening range breakout and then flip it here for the short on this run into resistance. But the 30 minutes going into the open, I like to watch these tickers to see what they do. It sold off right to this level, so I had to amend my short plan. If it had failed here, I probably wouldn't have taken it short so soon. I would have waited a little bit longer, but it looked like it was going to set up for the opening range breakout off of this level. So I ended up getting in here at 129.50. The opening, it was 129.45, I think, was the high on this candle. So it was bouncing off the VWAP here. Had this level right up under it. So it was safe for me to get in, before a confirmation candle. So I got in and made the run right up to the 9. It was running through it so fast, I actually made more money because it didn't hit my order till it blew past the 9. So that was a good thing. But that's where it failed, and which is the reason why I take profit at the 9 moving average first, because I was able to book $660 some on this first push up, and it failed, so I got out break even, to protect the gains I did have. Now, if it set up again off the VWAP, I would have taken it, again, possibly, just depending on where this 9 was in relation to the VWAP. But this 9 kept coming in, the 20 was coming in. It just looked short all the way. So once I got the fail of VWAP and everything just looked like this thing was going to fade, and watching timing sales and watching my level 2, I was able to see that this thing was going to crack. Well, obviously it didn't, because it traded sideways. And this, let me blow this up some more. This is just complete and total manipulation by the market makers. That's what this was. And it shook a lot of people out. But as long as it didn't close above the 9, I was hanging on to this, because I knew in this case the 9 was going to be the deciding factor, or the determining factor, as to whether this trade was going to work or not. So as long as it stayed within below the 9, I was in it, and I was in it to win it. I did cover some here because of how it looked. I thought it might turn around and go back, so I did cover some to book some profit here. This wasn't a scheduled cover here. It was just, I guess, a panic or emotional cover. But a year ago, I would have taken it all off here and just walked away. But, experience told me as long as your trade plan is in play, go ahead and leave some on. And I did that. But, let me go back. I did have somebody ask me about this 150 level here. And just to answer that question, the 129.50s was important because there was a lot of hidden size going through. There were a lot of hidden orders at 150, 151, 152 that wasn't showing up on level 2, but the orders were printing in time and sales. And that's what really prompted me to go ahead and get in, because a lot of times once they get taken out, if it's a weak stock, it's probably going to fall off the cliff. If it's a strong stock, it's probably going to pop and run up. And I was expecting that pop and run up. So that's why that 129.50 was kind of important to me. And that's why I got in, when I saw all of that size getting taken out. And, it did get the pop, but just didn't get the follow through. So sorry, I forgot. I want to go back and cover that. But again, I stayed in. It shook a lot of people out through all of this. Finally got a nice crack, and I covered some here at 128.04. This was going to be my first cover. The 128 is where I wanted to cover some first. I wanted to get a point on my first cover, which on LNKD is not out of the ordinary. The way this ticker moves, I should have been able to get a point. But because I had to cover here, well, I didn't have to. I wanted to, just to be on the safe side. That took up an extra cover. So my next target was going to be this 127.45, and it watched this level pretty quick. And it did fade down to the 30s, but then it came back up. And I went ahead and caught it here and took the last 300 shares off because, this looked like it was putting in a tail, and I did not want to get caught in a quick pop-up reversal. So I went ahead and took it because this was a target. My ultimate target was going to be either the 200 or this level. If it got stuck here at the 200, then I would have covered. If it lost it and then got to this level, just like this candle did, I would have kept it on. And I would have still had this on had I not had this cover here. This is what really took me out of, making the money on this second trade. But I still managed it the best I could. Didn't get scared out or shaken out by these market maker tricks right in here. So that was a pretty good deal. And I usually keep these tickers on my watch. If they're on my watch, I usually keep them up all day because I'm looking for secondary moves on them. And I saw this after lunch. It was testing VWAP again. I wanted to see if it was going to fail it or push it. And, when I saw it, I was kind of telling people in chat what I was looking at, and really thought it would get stuffed here. And, getting in the trade was going to be a good thing to do. Well, I slept this candle. And when this candle printed, it pushed up a little bit to the 200, rejected it. When I saw that rejection, I anticipated it was going to reject the VWAP. So I didn't wait for a candle to close. And on these stocks that have these big, that can swing big, I did not want to missed the move. And had I waited, I would have missed the move. And I thought I missed it by waiting in on this candle, but I didn't. I got in here at 126.99, and because this was so close, the 9 was like 50 cents away. I really didn't want to cover any at the 9. I wanted the 20 because I wanted to have an extra cover left, so I could get the big move down. I anticipated it moving back down here to 124. So I got out here at the 20 here. This was my next target, which I did cover a little bit early, but this was my next target here. I think I got some at 125.45 is where I got that at. And I was waiting for the move down, and it kind of based right here in the 124.60s. There was a lot of support that built in from somewhere. I'm gonna have to go back and look on the daily chart to see if I missed this level. I don't think I did, but I'll double check to see. I could have missed that level, but I was really anticipating it coming back down here. And as long as it stayed below the 9, I was keeping the trade on. And it did close above the 9 here, but it still looked kind of weak to me. And the 20 was right here, so I said, well, I'll give it to the 20. And sure enough, as soon as I took it off, when it claimed the 20, we got another flush back down to the 60s, in which, had I left it on, I probably would have covered the rest down here. Because of how this held up, I really didn't expect to lose it on that. And as you can see, didn't lose it at all. It just found some support here in the 60s, and that pushed it back up. So gave up about 30 or 40 cents, holding out, but, made a pretty decent penny on this ticker today or yesterday, and can't complain. I think I got as much as I could out of it, and pretty happy with that trade. Ended my week very, very well, so no complaints from me. The other thing I did, I covered RY according to plan. I think in my last recap, I talked about it. I was looking for it to hit 62.60s again. It did run up. I got out at 62.70. It did test it, and it failed. I'm not sure if it's going to keep up. If it ever pushes this level, I think we're going to get a decent run up. So I may look to enter over this again for maybe to move up to 64 or whatever. But I'll have to wait and see. I'm not really sure. Maybe chasing waterfalls if I do that. But held it a little bit longer, about a week longer than I wanted to, because I really could have gotten out here. All I did was make 20 more cents by holding it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more days, which makes absolutely no sense to be exposed that long, because anything could have happened. But I'm learning swing trading, and I got the best teachers at Warrior Trading. So Jeff is a swing trading guru, so I keep picking his brain. As long as he's there, I'm going to keep picking his brain, and I believe I can add this to my arsenal. But that's about it for me for the week. Closed out the month pretty strong. Let me see. Yep. It started out bad, 2 red days, and then $600 day. I was behind for the week at this point, but everything comes around. You have up days and you have down days, and I realize you got to take advantage of the good days, and that's kind of what I've been doing. I'm gonna start. are wired out. So I'm going to start with 10. I was starting with 8 this year. So my plan was to bump it up at the beginning of this quarter, but I didn't. I kind of forgot, and I didn't add any more back. I just stuck with what I had. But I'm starting with 10 this month. See if I could continue to increase my profits. Maybe take a little bit more size with the higher dollar names. I don't know how that's going to affect my psyche with my risk reward, but we'll test it out. But had a banner week. This was an awesome week. The biggest week of this year to date. Well, that's my biggest week ever. But pretty pleased, pretty pumped about that. My biggest month ever. So hopefully March will build on it, and I'm expecting it to do just what it did last year. I mean, I was solid, and when June 1st hit, the bottom fell out. And everything just slowed to a crawl. So trying to make it while I have it, and while I had an opportunity to make it, because I know June, July, August, September's probably going to be a little slow. But that's all I got. Hopefully, next month we'll start out strong and continue to push forward. But I can have a down month and I'll still be good for the year. So not going to sweat it. Just hope for the best and try to trade within myself and not try to get outside of who I am. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see everybody bright and early in chat.